Welcome to December 2023, which has been warm and wet. So the garden is looking a bit bedraggled, and I thought I'd start in the greenhouse, which is, as well as highly decorative, also really, really useful. We do a lot of propagation in here, and over winter, the main thing that's happening is in this propagation, we've got all the cuttings. So these are all taken sort of September, October time. And there's just an absolute mass of different things. I've got salvias and penstemons, lavenders, rosemaries. Look at that. And every single pot there has got like 8 or 10 things in it. The planting next summer is just going to be so exciting. But even more exciting than this is off-site. We have a polytunnel. This is about 1.5 miles away at my husband's business. So, I've got a bit of hard standing, and I've got room for these big boxes which we've made from crates, which are filled with all sorts of treasures. Some things have been moved around from the garden, other things growing on and, ready to be planted out in the spring. And inside the polytunnel, where I was, as you can tell, sheltering from the rain, there's just a mass of things waiting to go out, both grown on last year and then coming on now. But speaking of new beginnings, and this is a season of new beginnings, we're also starting a newsletter and a new website. So if you like the videos, do of course subscribe on YouTube, please. Makes me very happy. I don't know why, but it does. But also go and have a look at gaspercottage.com and sign up for our newsletter. So from January, there'll be a monthly newsletter, which will give a bit more depth and sort of analysis of what's going on in the garden, the planting choices we're making, rather than my videos, which ultimately are just pretty bonsai, spring project, terrified. But infrastructure, enormous compost heaps, really, really good. And we've also got a major water collection system, so that whole polytunnel is entirely fed with rainwater. It's also the season for new projects. So this is a new path connecting the studio garden down to the railway. The bottom half isn't yet complete. But we've also got a reworking of this bit of the garden, which if you come and visit the garden when we're open in August for the National Garden Scheme, this is the way you come in, which always used to be past the compost heaps. We've got rid of the compost heaps, and there's now a nice coppice, and it'll be the beginning of the forest garden there. When you come past that, you then get the lovely view of the pond. As you come up to the house, this is the view back out again. And at the moment, frankly, I find this really depressing. My husband loves that it's all neat and tidy and cut back. I just want it to be spring, but it isn't. But it will be soon. Never mind. And there are consolations, because you get all the seed heads, and you've got the silver of the honesty and the bronze there of the sedums. But it is all a bit bedraggled. And it would look more lovely if we had a beautiful frost and everything was sparkling in the frost. But we haven't had one of those. So all these people posting that on Instagram, it's from last year. We all know that, don't we? We haven't had any of that this year. Well, we've had one, I think. So not a lot. But the garden is still, it's lovely. But it is definitely taking its time. It's having a little sort of rest. But you get to enjoy those overlapping forms of the different structures. And you can see the details of the hunky-punk bench up in the corner, which is lovely with all its ferns and nestled in there. But the delights of evergreens and seed heads, they are nice, but what we all want at this time of year is fresh growth. We're all dying for those first things to grow. So at the base of the sedums, it's all welling up. You've got the little spiky bits of alliums coming through. I've got various sort of foliage coming up, and that's all really exciting. And then you have to hunt for them, but there are the winter flowers. So I've got, what have I got? I've got witch hazel, and I've got wallflowers. These actually are left over from last year, so they're going to come back again, which is always pleasing. The first of the hellebores that are just poking their heads up. I haven't actually got any sweet peas, of course I've got sweet peas, snowdrops yet. But I've got the viburnums, I've got lots of heather, various different colours of heather around the garden, which I really, really enjoy. And then, I've got this Mahonia, which is still, that's the top of it, that's kind of it. But by the back door, I've got a big clump of the Sarcococca. So every time I come in and go, I get that fabulous scent.